हेलो भाई लोग। आज हम लोग बात करेंगे कि अगर हमें मैथमेटिकल जीनियस बनना है तो उसके लिए क्या करना चाहिए। मैथ से इतना फ्रस्ट्रेट होने के बाद मुझे जो बेस्ट वे मुझे अब जो लगता, और मुझे नहीं लगता कि इस पर मेरा कोई पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू चेंज होगा आने वाले फ्यूचर में भी। तो जितना मैंने समझा है, आई थिंक द बेस्ट वे टू अंडरस्टैंड द मैथ इज़ यू स्टार्ट टू लर्न इट like a language through which we communicate to other peoples, like English, math, and uh, it may sound strange, but math is just like another language, be it like English, Chinese, Germans, and to be honest, it is much more concise, precise, and there are no grammatical errors in in this language. Also, there can never be a what do I call it, miscommunication when if you try to talk to other peoples in this language, because the rules are set. There is no alternate uh, or should I say space to uh, miscommunicate or to misunderstand what the person is saying. Although you might not be able to convey your feelings to the other person, but as a working as to communicate for your intentions, I suppose it is the best language. This idea may seem strange to you, but uh, it is what it is. So math is not any different from German, English, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, or any language you take up. So to uh, make you familiar with this concept, what I can say is we should we have in modern times have made a preconceived notion for a language. If you I've read somewhere that there are languages which you can only speak and there is no scripts to write those language. Some languages are in the form of whistles, and uh, they communicate through whistles, and these languages are are on the verge of extinction, and UNESCO is uh, making efforts to save these languages, and you can search about them. Although these are some weird things, but you don't think it is strange. You might feel a bit out of place if you heard about this or started to learn this kind of language, but it will be okay. You will understand. Similar is the case with the maths. If you start to understand how to communicate or treat it as a language, then I can bet even the greatest mathematical geniuses will be like the kids in front of you, because uh, when I when I started relearning, if I must say, the mathematical concepts and math, I found it to be very profound, and that is why I think it is very what can I say, magnificent and very curiosity raising language, because what I find very intriguing is that when there is a concept like dimensions and all other stuff, we can always, since math is the core and backbone of science, we can prove many things. But this is the only language in which we can uh, find many things about dimensions greater than 3 in which we are living, and still get some concrete results. Although many things are a mystery and we are not able to prove them, but I find it very amusing that We can talk about four dimensions or n dimensions, and have some equations for them and solve them to get some values. And even though it is a known fact that we will never be able to get a feeling of how the fourth or n uh, greater than three dimensions will feel like to us. So there are many such things in math, but as I said, if you want to be a mathematical genius, then this is what we seriously need to work on. Our education system doesn't support us for for this type of thinking. So I'm also very new to this mindset, and I find it very helpful. This has helped me to at least understand what mathematical equations are trying to say, and I'm very grateful for my math teacher, of for which he helped me to introduce to this. Uh, to be precise, he broke these foundations of math being uh, algebra being a separate chapter, and complex number being separate chapters, and differentiation and geometry being totally other concept. So I am very thankful to him. So on the topic of math being a language, we need to slowly first let sorry first let's understand what language basically means. Language is a medium through which we can communicate to other people about the number of things, feelings, and work or various other things we want to convey to other people. It is a very handy means to tell the other person what we are feeling, or want to do, or what are we doing. Basically, the best example for math is what I can give is it is like a military command. It is universal. There are no misunderstanding. If you say turn right, everybody will turn right. So these standard procedures make it hard for miscommunication, unless you want it to be intentional. I forgot to mention one example of language that might be very strange. It is a but you have definitely heard about it. The Egyptians communicated with the pictures as a form of their language and scripts. So imagine if you want to tell somebody or something, or you want to say something, but you're not there, so you want to leave a note behind, and you take at least 20 to 50 hours to carve it on the stone for the other person to read it when he reaches there. So a language is just a medium. It needs not to be bounded by uh, the spoken words and script consisting of grammars and other things. If, and the best example for that is a sign language. For blind people, it's braille. They feel the dots, where are the dots, and make a words or understand things with that. When mute people, sorry to say, but uh, they communicate with the sign language. It is also language. They are using their hands to convey what they want to say. So you should not constrict the language to English once you need a script, or you need some letters to create words to form a sentence, for and making rules for me for those sentences how to be performed. Uh, Also, being an Indian, I can say this was the concept why Sanskrit was used, because it was structurally and grammarly very correct language. So it helped. So basically, what I wanted to tell you is the fun fact, which I find very amusing, that it should be implemented in our today's system. Also, that in ancient times, when these mathematical equations, or all those things that you now get to know, that were discovered thousands of years back, were written in form of sentences like a spoken English. The greatest invention of modern times for mathematics is the notation and representation of how to write equations, because when Newton created equations, those were written in a very different notations, as and if that was still this standard, I don't think we would have made this much progress. So same being the case with our ancestors, they were limited by the technology of no paper. They needed to write on the leaf, so they will not be able to do big calculations. S- but the interesting fact is they still wrote the equations in form of spoken uh, language. So uh, to them, it was a foreign idea to treat math and language differently. What they spoke is what they understood. But since we have replaced too much, or to say the clutter of these wordings, we have found simple ways to replace them by symbols, and making an equation telling the same thing in very concise and short form. If you have to say, I have an apple, uh, you can just say, my name equal to 5 apples, where apple is my unit, 5 is the quantity, and my name is representing myself, and equal to sign displays I have, or something that is of mine, specifically. Sorry for my poor English, I'm not so proficient in it. Also, let's talk about English in some other part. So I wanted to explore a bit about how, if we are able to understand or communicate in math, if any expression, or we if we can feel what the expression is all about, then how you will become a mathematical genius. So what I think is the level I want to achieve in the field for now is at least that when to be honest, if I'm given a complex equation, and I'm solving it, the last part we do, as I was taught in schools and colleges, was to solve all the equations and plot the graph at the end of the uh, solutions to represent our findings. But uh, the level I want to achieve will be where, when I see a question and I understand it completely. That's the basic which is I am build which I'm trying to build right now, to such that if even if you are studying, what should I say, a branch of mathematics which you have never seen, or uh, very new to you, but you are shown advanced levels in that field, like cryptography or some other thing like that, but you are still able to understand what they are doing, and what is the broader bigger picture of those workings and findings. So this is the basic step, because you need to know, just like in any language, you need to know what are the uh, building blocks. Like for Chinese, those are kanji characters that help with both Korean and Japanese. Although be there may be different names for the same kanji character, but the kanji is will be read by all three of them. Same for the Latin letters, Greek letters, which are mostly used in mathematics, like alpha, zeta, pi, phi, and all of the others. Uh, in English, those are ABCDs. In Hindi, ka kha ga ga nga. Urdu, any language you take, for sign languages, you need to know then what sign represents what letter, or what in your specific country, what sign languages signs are dedicated to what things. Also for as I said, Egyptian picto, just as Egyptians used picture to display their feelings and what they wanted to communicate. Some uh, for a stick man, they that represented man. Drawing a man and woman was different, and a stick is used for counting and cannot be used in some other way so that it is not misrepresented, uh, and stuff like this. So for learning mathematics as a language, also we need some building blocks. Those can be differentiation, integrations, basic algebra like a of x plus uh, b equal to y, linear equations, basic, very basic stuffs. But since we are taught them in a very, uh, what can I say, uh, what do you call, mugging up form, that you are just to feed it in your memory that y equal to mx plus c is a line, and not you are not able to realize what they are actually talking about, what is an angle. Yeah, you can always say it is theta, or you can define its definition that the length of the arc on a circle it gives. While since language and cultures and history and geography, all these things are interrelated and dependent on each other. One gives rise to other thing, the other is connected to other thing, like a butterfly effect. There are ripples. For if we change one thing, the other also gets affected by some way or the other. So same is for the maths. If you do differentiation, it can be mostly teachers would have shown you on a graph drawing a straight line, making a triangle, having this slope, and saying this slope finding can be done with differentiation, or the uh, differentiation is the most basic, or the smallest unit of this slope finding of any line. So in math also, the cultures of different places and their geographical locations and history makes adds to the language. So definitely for maths, that is also the case. You might you might find this strain right now, but believe me, at least I have the idea that what I'm saying is correct. And we since we are not uh, taught or thought or given this mindset to think like this, that is why people like us face a very huge problem to understand math, or it may doesn't make any sense. While we all know, we are told that everything is working on a maths, because maths itself is a language. So even if you deny it, somewhere or the other way it will be there. So as you can say, you can solve a mathematical problem in a number of ways. graphical, algebraic representations, and many other ways. So that is why I want to achieve at least the basic understandings, and then moving on to the school of like a flowing language. Imagine a world where math is a language. Then the best example of language which I can give is use of language I can give is a code. You need to specify the law very clearly and accurately. Sometimes lawyer use these loopholes by the because you cannot express everything with words only. So there are what can I call loopholes, and criminals or many people or lawyers use these loopholes in the wording of the law to get by without being punished. So imagine if the world is based on a mathematical language, such cannot be done. Because uh, they will be able to prove if there will be no loopholes. Uh, Saying that there will be no 100% no loopholes might sound arrogant, but I can say 99.99% there will not be any loopholes for anybody to exploit. So and that's the what can what is the word I am finding, that is the beauty. I since I'm not that up to the mark, but with the previous videos, I think this is more beautiful, and this is more better explanation that I gave last time. So I think I'm sorry, but as we progress on, and I have some basically I am not doing any learning for the math part, but yes, slow progress I can say. uh, but I have now have a clear concept what I want to tell or world about my view on math being a language. So I will progress and keep you updated. And if you face any problems, try to think with this mindset, and hopefully if you become a much successful mathematician, then please do tell other people to follow in the same mindset, if this helps you a lot. I don't think even I uh, sometimes I get this thought, if everybody was talking in some mathematical terms, or at least they all haven't had no problem uh, uh, like English, which is the most popular language, because British colonized half of the world, so it has become the most common thing. If something like that happened with the maths, I'm just wondering how much advanced our civilization would have been. So maybe you may be called the father of that revolution that might give the Homo sapiens the evolution people think they will have in future. So I will conclude here, and for the topics, I have something in mind, but let's see when they will be coming. Uh, Thank you for listening to my rant, and yeah, let's see. I'm trying to inculcate some of the ways in which I can use my culture, language, location, and history, how that affected mathematics, because in other languages you can definitely see some uh, point of inflections in history. You can, as in case of discovery of microwave oven, some coincidences coincide, and on the direction in which the future went is completely changed. There are many such stories in history also, like Hitler being surviving some wars, which are often told if he died that day, then Hitler wouldn't have been born, and so much so on and so forth. So hopefully, I will at least be able to create some few of the lost instances of thinking language and mathematics together. So creating us concepts for differentiation integration such that uh, when people like us study it, they don't face any problems. Although there are many people who are making math a fun to learn about, there are many channels on YouTube, and I've discovered some of them, and I feel very great joy when I see their work. But the big ones like number file, three blue, one brown, and uh, Veritasium, and many others. They somewhere are even if mathematical geniuses like Newton and I'm forgetting the name, which yes, Laplace, and these geniuses are very great. There is no doubt about that. But what I feel is Ramanujan, he is used to said he used to feel, and based on the feelings he used to work on the equations and anything that came to his mind. So the feelings is a feeling part is very important, just as the language part is the technical, or I can say uh, the physical aspect of it, while the emotional aspect or the what remains abstract is your feeling part. So he got a feeling, he worked on that, and as language is a medium for you to express your feelings, you need to feel what math symbols or what they are representing. You need to feel that it should come from your inside that yes, this is an angle, although this is my palm, but the curve my hand is making, or the fingers, if I extend these fingers where they will converge, and the distance between it without from this point can the thumb that you are seeing, if I tie a knot here and extend it to the top of the finger and move it from here to here, so this will make a cut, an arc from the circle, and dividing the circle in 360 equal parts, we get a 1 degree angle. All that stuff, it should come from us. So as I was saying, if I can develop cultural and historic linkages to this mathematical language, then one part of that, a few example that I can give is, just as I said, the feel for the angles and triangles, they what we are taught is the culmination of many years of work, which is given to us on a platter. So we are not able to understand or get the context of how this came to be, which is missing for math, and big headache for me for to understand anything, because in physics there will be someone working or some historical writings you can find about that time on, or history. um, History plays a major role for physics and chemistry. You can get many stories of technological and advancements during wars, World War I and World War II specifically. But as for math, there is no such thing. But what I think is, angle is a concept which came to be after people were uh, what it is, what was it? Yes, people were working on wheels, making circles, or people were making a corners or buildings for their roads, because I was where it is blind. If you are crossing the road and the other person comes perpendicular, you won't be able to see each other until you have hit each other. So then I thought this is about rounding that corner, which was blinding people when crossing the square. So uh, to as for you to better understand, the square is I'm talking about is called Choraha, or on the road, crossroads I'm talking about, and not the mathematical square of size dimension A, but yes, these are also the things that add to any language and culture. So hopefully I will publish video about these, what I think could have been uh, the culmination of these ideas and uh, points about differentiation, integration, and many other things to make our at least get us a basic encyclopedia that could be taught in future, or when I'm talking about the utopia, when mathematical is a language and nobody fears it. Although learning a new language is tough, but if given if anybody is taught that from childhood, it becomes relatively easier. Just like English was taught to us from childhood, and it came easier to us. So in that utopia of mathematical language, nobody will at least fear the maths and its concepts, as it is today. At least for me, I can say. And there are many people like me who hate it, because people ask, we ask our teacher, where do we use it? But it's just like articles in any language. They are used everywhere, every time. But if you ask what is the use of any article, if you taught it as a separate concept, you won't be able to get the context and grasp it easily. Some people do, they are geniuses. That's why people appreciate them very much, and they need to be appreciated. So on that note, thank you for watching my rant.